The new movie, Wicked, is defying gravity at the box office. You could say it is the highest grossing film based on a Broadway musical. Thank you very much. Emmy, Grammy, and Tony Award-winning actor, that's Cynthia Erivo, who plays Elphaba. In this clip, she sings The Wizard and I when Elphaba is giddy at the possibility of meeting the Wizard of Oz.
Once I'm with the wizard, my whole life will change. 'Cause once you're with the wizard, no one thinks you're strange. No father is not proud of you. No sister acts ashamed. And all of us has to love you when by the wizard you're acclaimed. And this gift or this curse I have inside, maybe at last I'll know why. As we work hand in hand, the wizard and I.
And yep, she was singing live. Drop the microphone, please. Drop the microphone, please. Miss Erivo is in the studio. Welcome, and congratulations, Cynthia.
Bravo,
congratulations.
bravo.
I think it's so important to point out that all of you guys were singing live because you didn't have to do that.
No.
But that was important to you all. Why?
Yes, because when you're singing, and plus we're all singers anyway, it's what we do best. And it allows us to sort of stay connected to the action, stay connected to the emotions. And obviously it's a musical, so there's the tradition of singing live on stage. And both of us know what it's like to have to do it 8 shows a week. So it would have felt like we weren't doing it justice if we weren't singing live,
I think people might have been surprised here. You actually had to audition for this role.
Yeah.
And that was a very key part in the audition for you.
Yeah. That was one of the first
I was
songs.
surprised you had to audition for it. I've heard you sing.
I don't know if it was about my singing. I think Jon was giving me the opportunity to show a side that I haven't shown of myself before. I think I got to show a bit more of my vulnerability, the hopefulness, the playfulness, that some of the roles haven't necessarily given me a chance to show. And so that was why I came in and auditioned. And it was really beautiful. It was a lovely day, crazy. It was like 3 hours, and I sang and did some singing.
Were you nervous,
Wow.
Cynthia? Because this is such an established role, but you also have to figure out a way to make it your own.
Yeah.
Which you did, didn't you think?
Yeah.
Which you did. Were you nervous about this whole process?
I don't know if I was nervous. I definitely felt like I had a responsibility to the character and to the piece, because I didn't want to remove it so far away that you just didn't recognize her anymore. But I also wanted to find out what the truth was for me playing this character. So I knew it would feel different, but I wasn't trying to make it different. I just knew that if I told my truth, it would end up being different anyway. There's no need to force the difference in. It just happened.
So when these millions and millions of people go to the film, some of them sing along, even though the theaters are like, please don't sing along. People do it. They also cry. It's very emotional for a lot of people, and it's been emotional for you and Ariana talking about it on the press
Very
tour.
much so.
What do you think it is about this musical now on screen that makes people cry?
I think a few different things. I think one of the things that I've been receiving is that they see themselves in some of these characters, especially for me as Elphaba. There are people who recognize what it feels like to feel different, to feel othered, to feel alone. And so I think it resonates with a part of them. And then there is the aspect of forgiveness and figuring out what it is to be friends with someone, and to what that relationship can grow into and how complicated it can be, and the loss and all of those things, I think, is what's connecting with people, making people cry. For us, and for me, I think it's the idea that this whole entire journey has been very long and very big and a bit of a dream come true. So it's an emotional moment for me just because of what I've come through to get to.
But what does it mean to you personally, though, to have this role?
It means a lot. I don't, when I was little, I don't know that I could have told myself that this was going to happen. I don't know that I would have imagined that something of this magnitude would come my way. You can wish, you can dream about it, but you never know whether it will happen. And there's a part of you that sort of keeps itself protected by saying it won't happen. And so when it does happen, it's a really wild experience to sort of sit in the middle of it and be like, oh my goodness, this huge thing has happened, and I have dreamt about something like this my entire life, and it's coming true. I think that's the thing that gets me the most, yeah.
And being a black woman in this role, too.
Those roles don't come along like that for us, yeah.
So let's talk about this scene. Let's stay on this theme, because the scene when Elphaba arrives into the ballroom and everyone looks at her and laughs at her. I think for anybody who's felt like that, I know I have as a child, and you carry that with you through adulthood, no matter what you achieve in life.
Right.
How did it feel for you doing that scene?
Really tough. It was hard. It was a hard, hard day. It was really emotional. Those tears are real. And you're teetering on the edge of coming back and forth of all of those memories that you have. And I know what it's like to have been bullied. I know what it's like to have felt alone. I know what it's like to feel like you don't belong. I know what it's like to feel like everyone's looking at you, laughing at you, and not really understanding who you are, reading you for what you look like and not who you are. And so you're using all of those emotions, those experiences to feed what's happening in the room. And when you have to recount that, it's painful. So that day was just tough. But I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of that moment that we were able to capture. I'm really proud that Jon allowed me to be able to tell the story in that way, because that's not how it is in the original. It's very different from the original. But when I asked to sort of explore it a little bit differently, everyone was really open to it.
Now, a year from now, roughly, we get to do all this again. Part 2 comes out. You'll be back on a press tour. Theater goers will be crying and laughing and singing along.
I can't wait.
You will bat these questions away, I'm sure, but I must ask, have you seen a rough cut of the next part?
I haven't seen a rough cut. I saw like a sizzle reel of the second part, but I haven't seen a rough cut yet.
And I understand there's some new material from Stephen Schwartzman.
Yes, he's already told everyone some new stuff, so there's new things, yes.
Do you think it'll live up to the original?
I think so. I love them. I love the new pieces.
Cynthia, we have to take a break, but can you stay? Because I want to hear how you feel about people singing in the movie, the bond between you and Ariana Grande, and just what the numbers are crazy to me. Can you stay? Can you stay?
I can stay.
She said yes. I just love everything about this damn movie. Everything. Cynthia's staying. We're doing a special edition of Talk of the Table. Guess what? It's you. One of the things that is so fun about the movie, too, is I love the relationship that you and Ariana Grande have developed. And I've seen interviews, and you've said to me that we decided very early on we were going to have each other's back, because you didn't really know each other before this movie.
No, we didn't.
So what happened?
With each other. We met each other after we found out we had been cast. She came to my house. We sat, we chatted and talked.
What did you serve?
Just like crudité and tea.
Okay.
We're both like, you know, that's what we do. And lots of tea. I'm an English girl, so tea is always the thing. And we just talked about everything and nothing. And we were there for ages, and it was very, very easy. So part of us kind of knew, oh, this might work. We'll be okay. And I think we'll be able to get along with each other, and we'll find it. And then we went to Jon's house, and he was holding a dinner, and we sang for the first time together.
Oh, Jon Chu, the director, yes.
Yeah, our voices worked really well.
Wow.
Stephen Schwartz played piano. We did For Good together. That was the first time we'd heard each other together.
Oh, wow.
It worked. Our voices are very different, and somehow they made sense together.
But talk about voices working. Go ahead, finish.
I was just going to say, but before we started shooting, both of us had a conversation about making sure that we would take care of each other and make the space that we needed for each other, and take, you know, give each other what we needed, be generous with each other in this thing, because we knew it was a big undertaking. We knew we had a big responsibility, but we knew neither of us could really do that alone.
But people don't do that, Cynthia. They don't say, we're going to take care of each other in this process, no matter how it goes.
It just makes for the most holistic, wonderful experience.
Yes.
If there is an agreement that we are going to take care of each other because we know that's how we can take care of this piece.
Yes.
That's what we always lead with.
Well, before Tony was talking about people singing in the theater, because you can't help it, and it annoys other theater goers because they want to hear you guys sing. I'm wondering how you feel about that, people singing along to the movie while you're on the screen.
I'm never going to be the person that says, don't sing, because I've been singing my entire life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there's something really beautiful about having people feel comfortable enough to sing along in the theatres.
Yeah.
When was the last time that happened?
No, well, we're glad to say Wicked set up a special Christmas Day for all of you sing-alongs.
So there's going to be a
most people don't want to hear us singing, but there are many memes. The loathing thing is a meme, the choreography, the costumes, but the big thing is that, So there's a meme online that says, do this with a group of friends and don't laugh.
Yes.
And so we did it over Thanksgiving, me and my sisters and relatives.
Oh my gosh.
And I wanted Cynthia to see it.
Oh boy, okay.
No shit.
Very good.
Very good. Courtney!
Thank you, Miles. Miles
Oh
said,
my
okay.
Hey, not bad, Austin.
Yeah, Austin.
Not bad.
What do you think,
That's
Cynthia?
very good. The voice is in there.
No, but what's interesting is you do a little treble. Do people walk up to you now on the street and do, do they do that to you?
Yes, they have done that.
Has it gotten old?
Never. I don't think it's
I
ever
love
gonna get
it.
old.
Oh,
I
I
don't
love
think it's
it.
ever going to get old. You know, it's just that people take it and
Yes.
love it and want to do
I was
it.
going to ask you very quickly.
Yes.
You talked about how with Elphaba people are finally seeing you. The question I had for you is, how does it feel to be vulnerable
Yeah.
out there now?
I like it. I think that vulnerability equals humanity. It means people can see the human being behind the character a little bit more. And I think that's what I wanted for this particular character as well. But that meant that I had to allow myself to do that a little bit, which was terrifying. But I knew it would be meaningful. And I knew that that was really the only way to play this role. So you kind of put yourself on the line a little bit to do that. And you have to. There's a little bit of bravery behind it. You have to kind of, okay, this is scary, but it's really the only way to play her.
Yeah.
Is to reveal a bit more of me.
Well, this is such a big moment, such a big
I can't wait for
film,
part
and you're wearing it all so well.
Yes.
Thank you for coming by.
Is it too early for you to do the Is it too early for you to do
don't know.
how it really goes? Let's do it, Cynthia, please.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cynthia Erivo.
Okay. Oh my
Thank you.
I'll go next.
Yeah, Tony, you go next. Wicked is playing in theaters now. Run, don't walk. Jon M. Chu, we're so glad you're
Welcome.
here. You know,
Thank you. It's good to
This
be
is what I read, that originally you wanted to cast a bunch of unknowns.
Yeah.
But I look at this cast and it is so perfect. What was your thinking?
Well, you're like, Wicked is a star-making roles. Let's go
Yes.
find fresh faces. But when those two walk in, I mean, you saw from that scene, the moment you look in their eyes, there's no denying it. They just took those roles. And Cynthia, of course they can sing. But I think it's those little nuances, those details that make the movie. Yeah.
But I read this was your largest casting call ever. You went all around the world.
Yes, absolutely.
And you ended up on these two.
Yes, and I didn't believe, like, when Ari came in, like,
Yes.
no way Ariana Grande could, like, commit herself to a role like this. I know she was funny, I knew she had great pipes, but when she came in, she became Galinda. And I brought her in again. I was like, no way. And she came in, she
Really?
impressed me again. I was like, no way. The third time, she was just the most interesting person. And so that was really lovely. And Cynthia, what she changed, the words themselves are the same words, but the context is so different. And that's what when we knew that there was an urgency to make this movie, that it was speaking to a new voice of a new generation, and that Wicked needed to be made now.
The other thing that blows me away is the look of the movie. You planted 9 million tulips, and you wanted it to feel very cinematic and very grand. Yeah. This is our ode to you, your homage to you.
Thank you. Thank
Not
you.
9 million tulips, but close. But you really wanted the feeling of expanse. You wanted it to be immersive.
Yeah, that was.
Take us there.
That was what from the very beginning, with Nathan Crowley, our production designer, Alice Brooks, our cinematographer. It was. We get the chance to visit Oz, which is a classic place that has been since our childhood. So what does it feel like to be inside Oz, to touch the dirt, to see the scratches on the furniture, which meant we had to build it. So Munchkinland we built out of mud and thatched roofs and all that. The train is real, 60-ton train on tracks that move.
That train is real?
Yeah, is crazy.
What?
even moving it across a bridge, we had to like support the bridge and use the whole. It was insane.
Vlad.
The head, the wizard head actually moves in real time to somebody moving it. So
no one said, John, you're getting a little carried away. The budget is out. No,
they said it every day. We like to troublemaker in Hollywood, and that's this is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
It's amazing. Yeah, but Vlad, 17 sound stages. 2 of the sets were as big as 4 football fields.
Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit about your smaller scale artistry there as director. So when we see a beautiful shot like the one we just saw with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, and her eyes are watering, and there's that slow push, are you in a chair, sort of everything been mapped out ahead of time, and you're just deciding if you have it or not, or what are you doing behind the scenes in those moments?
So I'm behind the desk on the floor. I'm usually on the floor with my little monitor. I'm right there with the actors, and I know what those little things they're giving because I've seen it when we're rehearsing in my office, and they didn't like to sit in chairs. They like to sit on the floor because it feels like grounded or something. So we sit there, and I'm watching them. We talk all about this scene. So me and Alice, our DP, we talk about restraint because in a movie like this, and I've done movies in the past where you get all the tools and everyone's giving and you can just say yes to everything. Yeah. But I think what really, the story comes from actually how you carve the marble, how you say no to things and you simplify things. And so there's a lot of restraint in moments like this. When she says pink goes good with green, she goes well with green. And the way Ari says that, the return of, oh, it so does. Like, it's a simple line like you could just pass through, but she gives it such delight and you just fall in love with her. And then when Cynthia's looking at herself in the mirror, she doesn't have to say one word. Yeah. And you feel for her. Oh, why, Miss Elphaba, look how beautiful you are.
Let's talk about the reaction that you're getting. You specifically, because I know George Lucas has reached out to you, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has reached out to you. What did George Lucas say?
I mean, it's like...
Did you know George Lucas?
I've never met George Lucas. I've never talked to him. Of course, I went to USC where he's supported that school. So I got that call randomly this week. He was still at the mall where he had just seen
the mall, yes, and he called you.
And he called me, and we FaceTimed, and he couldn't have been more kind about. He's like, I make movies, and I said yes. And he's like, I know, I've seen all the elements in that movie. I know how hard it is to pull it all together.
Yeah, see, he would look at it differently. Yes. And The Rock too. Moana's killing it also.
Yes, and it's so nice when you see leaders like that, creative leaders who actually reach out. I didn't know that happened. And are just so kind and say, like, we're doing this together.
But this was something on Instagram because I posted, one of the memes from the movie.
Yeah.
This woman, Jen Jenks, saw this with my autistic son during the new student arrival day. He turned to me and said, "That's how I feel, Mom, like Elphaba all the time. Kids look at me like I'm different until they take the time to get to know me." This movie just fills people with so much emotion. I know you're hearing that too.
Yeah, it's amazing. The whole week, seeing everyone on social media talk about how they're connected to it. These are the conversations that I had with Cynthia and Ari the whole time. I mean, I would go onto the studio lot and I would show my pass and be like, "Oh no, deliveries are on the side." That's how, feeling a part of something is, I think we all feel a little bit outside of the norm. And so what Cynthia brings connects us with that feeling that we can actually rise above that is pretty powerful.
John, really quickly before we go, part 1 you've said is about choices. Part 2, you're saying it's about consequences. So what can we expect? I know we've seen the play.
40 seconds to goodbye.
Well, yeah, it's hard. To make choices, it takes a lot of bravery. To stay in those choices, why defend a home that doesn't want you? These are the questions that we get to explore in movie 2. So if you like movie 1,
John, I did behind the scenes. I watched, and you ask everybody to look in the camera and talk to your future self. John, look in the camera. Talk to your future self. What's your line?
I would say, take it in. Enjoy the moment and love your kids, number 1. Be there for them in all ways.
All right, father of 5, new baby.
Father of 5.
Wow. Jon Chu, congratulations.
Thank you.